Welcome to Up, Up, and Away, the restaurant marketing podcast, saving the world from bad marketing, brought to you by Kubrix, the all-in-one platform for loyalty and customer engagement. In today's topic, we are going to talk about email marketing for restaurants, go over some best practices, automation, and building email lists. I'm super excited about this one. We have Arun, who's the founder and CEO at Kubrix. He's a tech veteran with over 2 decades of experience. Before Kubrix, he was the principal data scientist and architect for developing Starbucks' personalized customer engagement platform. I almost went there for coffee this morning, decided to prep for our show instead. My name is Rev Ciencio, a hospitality marketing consultant, tech evangelist, content creator, and co-founder and CMO at Handcraft Burgers and Brew in New York City. Now, if you heard our last episode, you know that Arun and I got super deep on some really key high-level email strategies, especially around like segmentation, personalization, and overarching ways to set up your email marketing for success. I feel like we barely scratched the surface. I know that Arun and I could go deep for hours and hours and hours on this, on that email subject. So we decided to continue the conversation. This is part 2 of our discussion on email marketing for restaurants. Arun, you dropped a huge knowledge bomb at the end of the show about how to start calculating pre-churn. Can we sort of like just pick right up and go over that quickly again?
Yes. So the pre-churn, right? So how do you understand the average visit frequency of your customer? So your objective is to get your customer back to your restaurant after a certain time period of his average frequency has elapsed. So let's say that I visit your restaurant, let's say once in every 2 weeks. That's approximately my average visits. And let's say Rav is coming once in every month. Then you'll need to sort of personalize your win-back campaign to ensure that, approximately 3 to 4 times of that visit frequency. So if I don't come in 8 weeks, that's about 4x of my average frequency. You need to send me a win-back campaign. For Rev, it's not 8 weeks. It could be 3 months, actually. That is the idea of personalizing the win-back campaign and to understand like each individualized customer frequency and then do the win-back campaign accordingly. So your platform should support for this.
I love this. I think what most people do is they take what the average lapse is of all guests, and then they send automation at 45 days or whatever it is. And that like on paper, like that makes sense to me because you're trying to come up with something. But right, how does that help the person that comes every week, right? Versus the person that's not going to come every 6 months? Like it's the wrong way. And this is awesome. That was totally an awesome gold nugget. So again, the idea is you take every single guest, you understand their individual frequency, multiply by 3 or 4, and if you don't see them, that's the time to try to get them back in.
Exactly. And you can also A/B test this, right? Whether it's 3 times, 4 times, even 2 times, you can A/B test this.
Amen. Yeah. No, listen, the true answer to all marketing is test, but we got to start somewhere, and that's a much better place to start than I think where most people start. That is amazing. I also think that's a great segue. I want to talk about A/B testing for email optimization. The 4x, again, that's a great place to start. And truly, again, we'll probably agree all day that the answer is you got to test to get relevancy. What would be like a good A/B test that you suggest brands run? And look, there's probably 1,000, but like what's 1 or 2?
I think the most common ones and most low-hanging fruits are around email content itself, like subject line, the type of email you draft, what is the language and the tone of the email, which kind of, let's say you're doing a birthday campaign. So should it be 3 days before the birthday or 7 days before the birthday, which has got the best open rates? What would be the journey orchestration for your new customer campaign? So the new customer comes in and then you need to decide, when should I send him the welcome email? Is it an hour after or one day after? And then you decide what could be the next offer. Should I just send him a welcome email, or should I send him a welcome email along with some sort of a promotion? Correct. So any of these are the things where you can start with, but fundamentally any hypothesis you may have, you can A/B test. It could be very trivial. So one of our customers, what they did was, they want to do a win-back campaign, and they want to see, what should be my, they want to give a discount for the win-back campaign. What should be my discount? Is it 10%, 20%? They literally did an A/B testing with 10 versus 20. 50% of the customer get the 10% offer, the rest of them get 20% offer, and see what the result is. And then it came out and it didn't make much difference actually. So they actually didn't have to give that 20% offer. Correct. So
it's a good thing to know, right? You were giving away more than you needed to.
Exactly. So you can actually, so what you can do is that, you can do A/B testing, but you can also segment the customer further. You can make this A/B testing more fine grained. So you can do, let's say you have to do a birthday campaign. You can actually again have multiple A/B testing. So you can do an A/B testing for birthday campaign for your big spending customers, and you can also do your low frequency customer. This could be separate test, correct? So you can further kind of put these customers into different buckets and have individualized A/B testing for each of the customers in these buckets. So you can get as fancy as you want, but what I would say is that do a lot of A/B testing. So in the once you start doing the email campaign, for that matter, any marketing journeys, on day one you'll have some ideas, some hypothesis, but it'll take a while to basically let the data tell you the truth. What is the optimum? And then even once you establish certain patterns, certain hypotheses that, hey, this is what A/B testing says, it is still important to continually or periodically do the A/B testing for those same hypotheses, and then ensure that those things are still valid.
Oh man, we're starting to get overwhelming. So many things you can test. We actually tested the birthday at Handcraft Burgers and Brew, and you know what? I actually gave up on the test. As a consumer, I'm signed up for everybody's email blast because, again, we're researchers. We're trying to figure out what's going on, right? I get everybody's email. And I noticed that on my birthday, I get 30, 40, 50 offers. Every restaurant coming for a free ice cream, get a free donut, get a free coffee, 10. I have so many. How can I possibly go to all of them, right? I can't. Like, if I would have to have a full-time job to take care of all the birthday offers I got. So we gave up our A/B test. You know what we do now?
Yeah.
We send you an email on your birthday that says, psych, we don't do birthday gifts, but we'll give you one in 6 months. So we do half birthdays. So we do a surprise and delight that says, happy birthday, we didn't get you a present, but we'll get you a half birthday present in 6 months. People love it. They're like, oh, that's really funny. And even if they don't take advantage of the offer, at least like we did some branding and engagement, you know what I mean? But we had to test that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Amen. Okay. I have like 12 questions now about A/B testing. How long would you let an A/B test run? Does it matter? Is it 14 days, 30, 90? Like, is there an average to start with? Does it depend on the results? How do you think about that?
The scientific answer to is that until you get a statistically significant amount of data, that's what the foundational answer will be. Now, what is that statistically significant? So let's say I decide my A/B testing should run for 7 days, but actually that is again, it's a function of how frequent the customer visits, how many customers will be coming to your store in that 7 days period based on what you test. So the idea is that, let's say that if you're expecting about 500 customers in 7 days, depending on what kind of restaurant, 500 is not a statistically significant number to establish a truth, right? So if you want to get into something in the range of at least 2,000 to 3,000 or above. Okay. Again, the idea of statistical significant is varies. And let's say that once it crosses that 1,000, 2,000 mark, somewhere you're good. But it should never be that you run A/B testing in 7 days and you get 100 response. So that is then with that 100 response, you can't establish any hypothesis with that. It's also a function of the frequency of visit of your customers. So certain kind of A/B testing is trying to establish something like, hey, is my customer is likely to churn, or is this customer is going to visit again? So A/B test, which is considering anything which related to the frequency of visit, should also consider the average frequency of the customer for your restaurants. Let's say, for example, I'm a retailer, okay? I'm an apparel store. Average frequency in my store for a customer could be like a couple of months at least. Okay. So now if I have to establish an A/B testing, which says that if I do this, so if I change my product offering to this way, will my average frequency will increase, or will the number of customers which visit my store in a month, will it increase? So to run that A/B testing, since your average frequency of your customer is possibly about 2 months, that means that you have to run that A/B testing in 2 to 3 months longer period of time, correct? Versus if I'm a coffee shop, average frequency is a week, I can run my A/B testing for approximately 2 to 3 weeks and then establish the same truth. So there are certain things, but what two things you have to consider is that one is the number of data points which you can collect within that specific time period. Okay. Second is that the hypothesis is you're trying to establish. If it's something related to the frequency of your customer, then the A/B testing should run at least 3x, at least 2x to 3x of that average frequency.
Okay, that is also a huge nugget. How do you feel about ongoing tests, like tests that are just evergreen?
That is fine. I mean, it's fine. That's good about A/B testing. So in the advanced version of A/B testing, it actually some of these tests can run. It can be like ever-running tests. The way it works is that, say, once you have A and B, right? So normally in regular A/B testing, what you do is that you run your test for, let's say, 2 weeks or a month, whatever that time is. Once you end the test, you look at whether did A win or did B win, right? And then you say that, okay, let A is the winner strategy, and then I'm going to apply A for everything. In more advanced A/B testing, what happens is that you can run this test forever, and then the algorithm actually automatically picks the winner. Okay, and then say that, okay, the algorithm says, okay, I ran it for 1 month, I see A is the winner. Okay, and then it picks A and then use A as the strategy. Okay, and then it doesn't stop there. What it does is that 80% of the time it runs A as the strategy, but it still runs B for 20% of the time, even though B is the loser. The idea is that there's a chance that in a different circumstances B has got an advantage, or B can emerge as a winner in a different time period, different circumstance. Let's say the season changes or the customer pattern changes. So it'll still keep B for a lower percentage of the time. And if it sees that B is coming up, and then it will automatically shift the main strategy from A to B.
Interesting. That is a fascinating idea. I had never thought about that till right now, because normally to me an A/B test has an ending. But the idea that you could program it to have an ongoing test at the 80/20 level, that's really smart.
Right.
Really smart. I'm now really thinking all of my automations. Let me tell you about one of my favorite A/B tests I've ever run. This is amazing. I had a client I was working with, and they were like, we email too frequently. They emailed like once a week, and they thought that they needed to go to every other week because they didn't want to annoy their guests. I had a completely different opinion, and I talked them into this. This is crazy. I said, okay, let's email every single person in your database the exact same email at the exact same time of day for 7 days. Like Monday through Sunday, let's send the same email, same time, everything the same, and see what happens. The only thing that changed over the course of 7 days was the picture in the email. Okay. We sent it at 3:30 every day, Monday through Sunday. And the subject was, what can we get you for dinner? Or how would you like your dinner? And then it was like a headline, a picture of a food item, and then make a reservation or order. Was it. Only thing that changed was the image. Monday was a salad. Tuesday was a sandwich. Thursday was a burger. I don't remember, whatever. It was the only thing that changed. Okay. Couple amazing lessons came. We learned some amazing things out of that. Number one, unsubscribe rate never ever went above 0.2. So I was like, we can definitely email more frequently than we thought we could, right? Number one. Number two, if we had annualized the revenue that those 7 days had generated, we would have added $1.25 million to the bottom line of that restaurant, which is unbelievably significant, right? So test is not over. Any questions yet, or should I keep going?
No, go ahead.
Keep going. Yeah. So we were like, wow, this is amazing data. I said, let's do it for another 14 days. 21 days, same email, same subject line, same time, same group. 21 days, same email. Okay. We learned a couple other lessons. Number one, unsubscribe rate never went above 0.2. We could definitely send more frequently. That restaurant now sends emails twice a week. People don't unsub. right? As long as it's working, it's working. Okay. Number 2 lesson, the annualized number did not work because there was a lot of diminishing returns because we'd had a whole bunch in the front. It kind of like, okay, stop bothering me. But still annualized, it added a couple $100,000 to the bottom line. So it was like, okay, we're going to email. Here's the lesson we didn't plan for that was actually the most important lesson we learned. This is amazing, right? That's why I should look at all the data, right? 'Cause amazing things can happen. This place was like a burger bistro, like somewhere where you go, you sit down, you have burger, fries, and a beer with your buddies or soda or whatever, right? It wasn't a fast casual or health brand. It did not matter how hard we tried to program an email on a Monday, our slow day, to get you to buy a burger. We could only affect your ability to convert at the highest, like 0.5%, not even a full percent. If you were going to get a salad on a Monday, it did not matter what we put in the email. We could not convince you to eat a burger. Okay. However, on the day that we are most likely to sell you a burger, a Friday or Saturday, that we had like a 10 to 20% conversion rate on getting people to order a burger on a day they were going to order a burger. And you were like, yeah, no kidding. But here's the deal. You might have gotten a burger at multiple places, but our email got you to choose us. Right? Super powerful. So what do we learn? You can email more frequently than you think you can, right? That and that understanding what works on what days. Super powerful, man. Crazy. I absolutely recommend people do tests.
Indeed, yes. It's very important to test.
You have any storytelling on any crazy tests you ran? Any clients you work with that something interesting came up?
Something which we are planning to do with one of our customers is that we plan to test the one side we have our AI enabled offers, which basically the algorithm automatically picks the right offer for that customer. And on the other side, it's like your regular standard offer, which is like manually picked. Okay, everyone gets breakfast sandwich for a win back campaign. Versus Rev gets his favorite food, Arun gets his favorite food for breakfast. So that's what we are going to test, and we are expecting that the AI enabled campaign should have a much higher success rate than the regular campaign. So that's something we are going to test.
Amen. God bless. Okay, we've been very technical, mathematical, scientific. Let's switch. Let's talk about content. How important is the role of storytelling to the content of email marketing? Does it matter? Can I just send a picture of a burger? Do I need to tell a story? Like, what's your opinion on this?
I think content matters. So I was consulting with one big brand a couple of years ago, and what they do is that in every email they see what their favorite product is. Okay, it doesn't matter what it is, but they put the favorite food of that person's and the picture of that person's favorite food in the email. Okay. It doesn't matter what the email is, but they ensure that the photo of his favorite food is there. That dramatically improve the click rates.
Interesting. But so in that example, would you send the same picture, the same person every time? Or different pictures of the same item? Like how would you make that work over time?
It's like take top 2-3 food items the customer likes, and then different pictures of that product.
Okay, I'm gonna throw a wacky one at you.
Yeah.
The restaurant I order from most frequently is the pizza place in my town. It's 2 blocks from my apartment. It's relatively affordable. The food's good. They're very nice. It's fat. Like I order there probably once a week, right? I have probably ordered 65, 70% of their menu, and I change every time I order. No joke, right? How would they pick an item in that scenario? What would you tell them to do?
You are like a customer. You're an exception.
They have lots of good food.
Yeah, so I think then that is difficult, right? So again, this is algorithmically determined, right? So there is because you have to do it for every 100,000 of customers for that. So the algorithm picks up. Okay, so there's things like recency, etc., right? So they give weightage to the most recent items. Okay, so that is something like time decade in algorithmic terms. So what it means is that let's say you order some burgers today, and then every week progresses. The importance of what you ordered today is decreasing. with every week. And let's say that you order like 10 burger today, and then after 2 months, you order a different kind of burger day. Okay. So that what you ordered after 2 months is the most fresh item, right? So even though you ordered 10 burger today, so the time decade value of the weighted value of it, that takes precedence. So typically what you have been ordering most recently takes precedence over the other items.
Okay.
Being everything else being equal.
Fascinating. Okay. So I'm a restaurant. I have a big menu. I have new items, yada, yada. I want you to eat other things on my menu. I want my try my LTOs, etc. Are you saying I don't send those, or do I only do the personalized item email when it's like a lapse or a churn or something like that?
No, I'm not saying that, if you have an LTO and item and then if you want to send those promotion, I'm not saying that you don't put that picture item. Okay. But it's certainly, so again, you need to test it, right? Well, because again, for different business things could be. Now, one thing you can test is that I have both pictures out there. The LTO products picture and the person's favorite products picture, and the test against versus just LTO. And then another test could be just LTO versus the favorite food alone, even though the promotion is for the LTO. So I think it makes sense to test these things. Because if I say one thing works, and it might not be applicable for all restaurants all the time.
Amazing. Okay, I'm going to go back to my question. You said that content matters. You gave some great examples. You gave some technical ways to do it, some tactics to execute. I love this. What about actual storytelling? Like not just like a picture of a burger, but like how we made the burger or why that burger is important or how we source the ingredients or how the chef tasted it. Like, does that matter? Does it have any relevance? Does it have stickiness?
I believe storytelling matters, yes. Because because restaurant is not just food. It's a whole experience and a concept, correct? When I think about restaurant, it's very seldom that only food matters. So when you tell the story behind the food, right, you are bringing the whole experience back to his mind. You're refreshing his mind with the whole experience. So I think an effective storytelling with effective visuals matters. This is one thing which you can see whether your content is making relevance or not. So you can look at two metrics, right? One is your open rate. Next is your click rate. Okay. So you'll have to see the open rate with respect to the number of emails which you have sent. Okay. Let's take the top of the funnel. You sent 1,000 emails. Okay. Let's say 400 people opened it. Okay, your open rate is, let's say, 40%, 40 out of 1,000.
That's a pretty good open rate these days.
Yeah, right. And now let's say that out of that, only 100 people clicked it. Okay, so that click rate is, with respect to the open, is 10 out of 100 by 400. It's 25% is a click rate. Okay, so your click rate is substantially lower than your open rate. Okay, which is typically the case. I mean, I'm not saying it is, but if you see that your click rate is much lower than your open rate, let's say your open rate is 40%, click rate is 5%. That is an indication that somewhere the content is irrelevant. Because they opened the email, but once they opened the email, they didn't see the content is compelling enough to make any further action.
Okay, I'm going to fight you here because I don't agree.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, this is my opinion. Okay, it's not the law; it's just Rev's opinion. I think that the revenue of a restaurant is actually determined by retention, not acquisition. Right. Like if I can get my guests to come back more frequently, I win. That to me, that's the game.
Right.
Okay. And I believe the email is actually the best retention tool. Right. It's the cheapest, fastest, most scalable, easiest way to get a message in front of a guest. Okay. And I think that all guests everywhere, definitely in America, hopefully where you are too, we frequent as humans like 4, maybe 5 restaurants. That's it. Like the place I get coffee, the place near my office, the place my family goes to dinner, a rotating fourth, and then, somewhere that the family goes. That's it. That's my frequency, right? Everything else I go once, maybe twice every other year, something like that. Okay. If you as a restaurant are not in my top 5, your job is to stay top of mind with me so that you get in the consideration set of the top 5. That's it, right? And the best, easiest way to stay top of mind with a guest is get your content in front of them, right? I believe it is a fool's errand to think that I can send you the right message, the right content at the right time, that you're going to open it or see an ad or be on social media and click and go like, I am going to order right now. I think that's a fool's errand, right? So to me, the magic metric is open rates with email. Because
No,
if I got you to open it, that's I won, right? If I got you to click, like massive, that's a grand slam. But I think that, and most people only click when it's like an offer. And I think if all your emails have offers, then you set the expectation that the guest just wants offers. So I agree to a certain extent, but I think the thing to focus on is open rates.
no, that is right. I'm
Okay.
not disagreeing there. I mean, the primary metrics to look and to see that whether customers are engaging with the email, they're interested in your email as a brand, is open rate. Okay, see, open rate actually indicates the connectedness with the brand. What I'm saying is that let's say that you send certain email campaigns and you see the click rate is substantially lower than your average campaigns. That could be an indication about the content. I'm not saying it is always, but it's worthwhile looking into your content and say that was the content good enough, because if the click rate is substantially lower than your average click rate. But open rate is the metrics which actually saying that people are even connected with your brand. Okay, this brand is relevant for me. I get an email, I'm opening that. Yes, I agree with you there.
Hey man, you know what my other favorite metric to track is with emails? Revenue. How much
Yeah.
revenue is associated with the email? Like if I sent that email, how much did I make? Now, I think everybody has a different opinion on this. When you send an email, there's a window of attribution. Did it affect behavior 24 hours, 48 hours, 7 hours, 30 days, whatever? Um, if you were measuring email, what would you say is the attribution window to apply how much revenue that email generated?
I think that's again somewhere a functionality of how soon the customer tend to return to your restaurant, right? So if a restaurant on an average and it's a coffee shop, on an average they visit once a week, approximately that 7 to 8 days should be sufficient enough to say that the customer is coming back. Versus if it's a fine dining restaurant and then it's if it could be a monthly 1 month or 2 month could be that window. So then I cannot keep 7 or 10 days as the attribution window.
Amen. I default to whatever the half is between the frequency of send. So if I send once a week, so every 7 days, half of that is 3. So I would attribute 2 to 3 days. If I send once a month, I would attribute 2 weeks. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes sense.
It's not based on any reality other than a bunch of hunches. I've looked at a lot of email. That's where I would start. But ultimately, I think 24 hours is too short, right? And in some cases, 48 hours is too short.
Right. That's right. So I think what's more important here is that how does it compare with the same metrics? So let's say that you're using 7 days as your attribution window. Then what you want to see is that you compare the performance of email for month over month or quarter over quarter with that same period. You can certain tools allow you to expand that window dynamically and see that 7 days attribution is this much, but if I expand this to 10 days, the revenue is this much. But certainly you don't know that exactly whether it's 7 days or 10 days, but you're sort of approximating to. So the idea is to see that it's not the absolute number saying that 7 days I put an attribution window of 7 days and it generated $50,000 in revenue. So it's not the $50,000 itself is the most important part. It's basically how does a given email generated $50,000 in 7 days comparing to another email which I sent last month, which only gave me $20,000 in 7 days. That's sort of what we are trying to arrive. It's the relative importance of the emails than the absolute number. I mean, can I say that everything, like let's say that I sent an email and then 7 day attribution, it generated let's say $50,000. I cannot with 100% certainty I say that all those generated 50,000 is purely because of email, correct? Even if I get my attribution window correct, because there could be certain number of customers would have been making those purchases even if they have not received the email, right? So there could be that effect also. We don't know that yet. Unless we get into the deep analytics, we don't know that number. So it's more, what is more important is the comparative value of this revenue number. from email to email, month over month.
Like I said, overwhelming. Marketer's universe, man. As soon as you figure out something, there's something else to figure out. We used to get, when I was at Single Platform, again, on the tech side, not on the restaurant side, like we would go, okay, our hypothesis is this, and we'd run the A/B test and whatever, we'd get a result, and be like, great, now we have more hypotheses. Same thing as the restaurant. There's just at a point where you're like, okay, I'm good enough. You know what I mean? And I will always default to the following statement, and nobody has ever proven me wrong. If you're sending a weekly email to your restaurant guests, it checks a lot of boxes.
Yeah.
And so if you don't have all the answers, but you're sending a weekly email or every 10 days or something like that, like, you cover a lot of ground. You know what I mean?
Right.
Amen. All right. Well, listen, again, fascinating conversation. We could probably have 4 more episodes on this, so we'll have to come back to more email later, but this was amazing. You gave some really great technical nuggets. I know I appreciate it. I'm going to go look at some of my automation. So awesome. All right, everybody, thank you for joining us. If you enjoyed the conversation, can you please share this episode with a friend who might also find it helpful? If you really enjoyed the conversation, can we please ask you just one favor, and that's give us a rating in iTunes. That helps us to spread the word to others who might also find this valuable just like you did. And for more like this, please don't forget to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast player. Thanks, everybody.